The last few weeks for me have been a whirlwind. They really have. We put out a record. Here we are, most nominated for the CMAs, and Yellowstone airs next week. I mean, it's crazy. It's like boom, boom, boom. So many blessings, so many things to be thankful for, and I feel like things are really starting to pay off, you know, that hard work, those 11 years of being here in Nashville, and to be recognized and to feel like I'm a part of the country music community is something that I have always dreamed about. I mean, that's all I've ever wanted. And I get to call a lot of these folks my friends now. I get to call them when I need advice, and it's pretty special. So I am performing Wait in the Truck with my buddy Hardy, and it is going to be a special performance. If you hadn't seen the music video, you got to go watch it. It tells a story. It's about domestic abuse. It's shining a little bit of light on a dark subject. But when he sent me the song, it took me back to the 90s. It took me back to why I fell in love with country music to begin with. Those storytelling, whether it's Thunder Rolls or Goodbye Earl or Whiskey Lullaby, like that's the way that it made me feel. So it's going to be an emotional performance, but I think it's going to be a performance that people connect to. And I wish they didn't, but that's just life, you know. A lot of things happen behind closed doors that people don't want to talk about, but it's real life. So I'm getting to be a part of the Alan Jackson tribute, which is crazy. Like, if I could go back and tell little Lainey that I was going to have this opportunity, I don't know if I'd believe it. I don't know anybody who has moved to Nashville in the last 20 or 25 years who could say that they have not been influenced by Alan Jackson. And throughout it all, he has remained himself. No matter what, he has stayed true to his roots and to who he truly is. And that right there is inspiring to me. And it makes me feel like I can do this and do the same exact thing. So when we got ready to cut my record, Saying What I'm Thinking, we went through 200 plus songs. We were trying to figure out exactly what was going to make the cut. Those songs I wrote in 2016, 17, 18, and we actually recorded the record in 19. And then we released a few songs, and then the pandemic hit, and so we held on to it for another year. So when we actually released the record, it had been done for a really long time. But I felt like it deserved that moment. I felt like we needed to wait and give it what it deserved. I'm so glad that we did. I'll say that we chose every single song on the record based off of, is this saying what I'm thinking? Am I saying what I'm thinking when it comes to my songs Dirty Looks? What would Dolly do? Things a man ought to know. I asked myself that question, and if I wasn't saying what I was thinking, then it just didn't make the cut. I felt like that was going to be a really good introduction to who I am, what I want to say, and how I want to say it. So I feel like with Bell Bottom Country, you know, several years have gone by since I have put out a record or written for a record, and I feel like I've just grown a whole lot. I mean, not just as a singer and songwriter, but as a person. And I feel like I'm finding myself a little bit more every single day. I mean, I've lived a lot more life. I've got more stories to tell. And I'm pulling back the layers, digging a little deeper on this one, being a little more vulnerable, which is hard to do. I mean, that can pretty dang scary. But we did it with Bell Bottom Country, and Bell Bottom Country means country with a flair. It's about finding whatever it is that makes you you and different and leaning into it. It could be where you're from, how you were raised, the way that you talk, the way that you dress, your story. It's just about leaning into that unapologetically and being yourself.